What's up, Brew Crew? Opie here. Welcome back to my Brew City Garden on this gorgeous spring morning. So today's Friday. Day 10 of the conditioning process was back on Monday. So it's been exactly 4 days now since we completed the conditioning process. Now that doesn't mean the internal process within the bales is complete, but we're going to check that today and see exactly where we're at. So let's pull out the thermometer, let's check a few bales and see exactly where we are. Now that it's been 4 days since we added the balanced fertilizer to these bales, essentially on day 10, I want to come through and just check these bales and see where we're at on temperatures and see whether or not we can get away with beginning to sow seeds and put in transplants if we want to this weekend. So first thing I want to do is just check the 3 bales. These are the 3 bales that I've been kind of keeping track of throughout the whole series. And as you recall, they started off at around 100 degrees Fahrenheit and worked their way up to 160. And I just want to make sure those are cooled down now, because obviously there's no way we can plant with the bales being that hot. We'll either end up killing our transplants or we'll end up killing our seeds. So as I look at this first bale, we're sitting just under 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is going to be about 16 degrees Celsius or so. So this particular bale, absolutely, we could plant in this one now. Let's see what these other 2 say. All right, let's check the second bale here. We'll throw that in there. And this one's essentially the same. It's about 60 degrees Fahrenheit approximately, or 16 to 17 degrees Celsius. So again, this bale at one point was super hot, and now it's ready to go. The last bale I want to take a look at here. All right, and this bale is exactly the same. So essentially these 3 bales are ready to plant in. So this weekend, if I want to sow some seeds or throw some transplants in the bales, weather permitting, I can absolutely do that now. All right, guys, so I'm happy to say that after 4 days, my bales, the majority of them have cooled down enough to where I can start sowing seeds and putting in transplants if that's something I wish to do. Right now, the weather's not quite right for that, so I'll probably wait at least a couple more days, or I'll check the weather and see what we're expecting over the next several days and go from there. But the point is that the bales have cooled down enough to where we can start working with them. Now, as with any bale garden, this situation is unique to my garden. It could take up to 10 days or possibly more for your bales to cool down, depending on what types of fertilizer you used and other environmental factors. Since Monday, we've had 3 consecutive days with rain, and I would say probably around a half an inch or so every day during that time. So that probably was a factor in my bales cooling down. Just to note, if you're finished with day 10 and the weather is going to be clear for the next several days and you're going to be waiting for your bales to cool down, you want to go ahead and water your bales once a day during that period. So 1 gallon or about 4 liters of water once each day during that period. Now this weekend, I probably will transplant some of my cold weather crops out into the bales and probably direct sow some peas as well. But as I do that, I will double check the temperature of these bales just to make sure that they don't start to take off again and start to warm up again. Just as a preventative measure, I'll just throw that thermometer in there, make sure my temperatures are under 90, and if that's the case, I'll proceed from there. Now, I should go without saying, your bales are still going to be, unless they have completely cooled down, they may still range in temperature by 20 degrees or so. But as long as they've cooled down to the touch, you should be fine. All right, guys. Hey, thanks again for joining me today at the Brew City Garden. I tell you what, I am super excited to know that even this weekend I can start sowing and putting transplants into my bales after only 4 days from the last day of conditioning. So all the way through the process, the weather has been just perfect for me. We got rain in the last 4 days after I put down my all-purpose balanced fertilizer, and it was just enough to wash that fertilizer into the bales, get them ready for plants, and but there's just enough rain to cool the bales down. So most of the conditioning has slowed down to the point where the bales are able to be planted in. So I'm happy to say that I'm going to start sowing seeds and putting plants in this weekend. And it's just awesome. The weather turned beautiful. The skies are blue. The birds are singing. The buds are on the trees. And man, I just couldn't be any happier. Hey, and I had a couple of you guys ask me about the potatoes in the straw and how those are doing. Well, it's been so cool lately that they haven't come up yet, but I moved a little bit of that straw and I've got little sprouts about a ½ inch to an inch below the straw line. So they will be up probably this weekend or early next week. So I'm happy to say the potatoes are doing great too. As soon as they come up, I'll make sure I cover that. All right, so stick around for sure. Hey, if you want to find out more about me, you can find me at Facebook at Brew City Gardener. And if you want to speak to the straw bale gardening community as a whole, check out our Facebook group in the link below. It's called the Global Straw Bale Gardeners Collective. Wow, that's a mouthful. Hey, but it's also full of information too, so you got to go check it out. A lot of great people from all over the world there. All right, guys, it's time for me to get out of here. Have an awesome day. We'll see you. That's pretty good, actually. That's pretty good. That's pretty good, man. You look like you done this before. Uh-oh. They found me. I didn't mean to do it.